This show is part of the RetroZapp.com podcast network.
Now, prepare yourselves for a Starships, Sabers, and Scoundrels special edition.
This is so wizard.
You feeling me, Hunter's Wizard? Oh, I was just stepping to you, girl, with my intellectual wizard politics.
I am an enchanter.
Wizards only.
Fools. Wizards rule.
There are some who call me Tim.
Greetings, Tim the Enchanter.
Nope. Wizards only. Wizards only, fools.
Hello, Scoundrels. Welcome to episode 74.2, That's So Wizard, a special edition of Starships, Sabers, and Scoundrels. On this episode, we will feature the latest rundown of Star Wars fashion and lifestyle finds from all corners of the galaxy. I'm Jay Krebs, and I'm joined by my two friends and co-hosts, Dennis Keithly and Darth Taxus. So, Dennis, why don't you tell us what a special edition is? And hi, Taxus, how are you doing tonight?
Fine, I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt.
Nice.
I get
so am I, as a matter of fact. All right. Well,
and I'm wearing Star Wars underwear.
Mine says Darth Mom. Matter of fact.
Mine says Star Wars.
So, special edition, Dennis. What is it?
Yeah, a special edition. These are our in-between episodes. We are normally a bi-weekly podcast in which we cover the news, we have a discussion, we do listener feedback. On the Scoundrel special editions, like I said, these are in-between episodes. We kind of pare the show down and discuss a specific topic, kind of forego the listener feedback and the news and save that for our bigger episodes. So there you go.
Yes, and on this special edition and this edition of That's So Wizard, this month's episode will be focusing on several fan organizations and entities, all of whom contributed items to helping me realize a fashion or fandom goal of mine. And I'm also going to be including some other fun pieces and products that I've run across since our last episode. So I'm really excited to jump in on this. And I know you guys got to see some of the pictures that I posted. So that's basically what I'm going to be talking about tonight and spreading the love. So recently I created a jean jacket patchwork and pin garment. So this idea originated a little over a year ago, and I was really into the jean patchwork trend at the time. And I wanted a garment that I could not only wear, but that would promote various Star Wars organizations, people, or entities. And so the idea was that not only would I have, an awesome custom Star Wars finished piece to wear, but that I could kind of give a little back to the fan community by serving as sort of a walking billboard. So that's where the idea came from. And originally I thought I would do skinny jeans or capris, but ultimately I settled on a jacket. So I started reaching out, asking for donations of patches and pins, and I was able to get several things from various places who wanted to support the idea. And I also purchased a few myself because the organization was selling the item to raise money for a particular cause, and I really wanted to support them in return. So my original goal was to have it done a little after the first of last year, but life kind of prevented that. So here we are, a little over a year later, and it's finally finished. And like I said, I did post some pics on social media, and I did get a huge positive response from the fan community. So of course that made me even more excited to talk about it. So I figured what would be the ultimate place to discuss it than right here on That's So Wizard.
Well,
so,
yeah.
I know it's a perfect platform for it. So
It's
I want to
almost like
tell
it was
you
made for it.
exactly custom made, not like custom faded, but
slap a patch on this. That's right.
Exactly. So I want to tell you a little bit about each of these people and/or organizations, and the links for all of these will be in our show notes, as well as the pictures of the patches and pins too. So, so that way, if you want to purchase any of them, support any of their causes, give them all a follow, that kind of thing. That's what we're all about here in the Star Wars community. So I put everybody together in alphabetical order. So first on the list is our very own Brews and Blasters.
Never heard of them.
Star Wars party
Of course you have. Our flagship show for RetroZap. So no strangers to our listeners, I'm sure.
Drawing
Brews
blanks.
and Blasters is the flagship podcast for our very own RetroZap podcast network. Hosted by Joe Tavano and Chris Salton, it's the ultimate Star Wars party with two guys from Boston who were talking about this stuff anyway.
That's a good tagline.
And I know, I love it.
They should use that.
Yeah, they really should. Somehow it sounds really familiar. But, and honestly, I don't even remember how I found these guys originally, but honestly, I don't. But as soon as I started listening, I was hooked. They're so funny, so knowledgeable. And I actually started craving the podcast every week and became a heavy user, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the first time I ever heard of Joe was when he was on Skywalking through Neverland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can't
there
remember what I was on there for. But that's the first time I did.
Another podcast in our Star Wars community. There you go. But the weird thing is that, ironically, listening to their podcast and sending them emails and voicemails to Chris and Joe was how I found you guys on SQ Pod and started listening to you.
Oh.
And then eventually, as they say, the rest is history. And I am now part of the RetroZap podcast family.
I seem to remember me kind of force-feeding you episodes.
You did tag me from time to time.
Hey, Jay,
but you
should check this out.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you did, because honestly, the first time that I ever listened to our podcast with myself on it, before I became an official co-host, I smiled from ear to ear when I heard that initial, "You're listening to the RetroZap Podcast Network," that kind of thing.
That is so great. I do love it. That kind of gets me hyped up every time I hear it,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So I am actually sporting two patches from Brews and Blasters on the jacket, the podcast logo patch and my Oppo Award, which is a very coveted award. So the Oppo is given to any listener that leaves an iTunes review for the show. So if y'all want to leave them a review, they will send you a patch.
Yeah.
And they're really good about it. And you can find Brews and Blasters right here, like I said, on the RetroZap Podcast Network.
Yeah, it's a perfect opportunity.
Ah, nice. And of course, it's always, Monday is a very special day too. What's Monday?
Yeti Monday.
There you go.
Yeah.
Monday.
And he wears a jean jacket.
Monday.
Do you remember when they had the artwork with Yeti Mundi in the jean jacket?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can still find that, I believe, on brewsandblasters.ninja.
There you go. There you go.
Ninja.
So moving on.
What is that, at Mindspring?
I don't know. Conveniently, C comes right after B. So I get to keep talking about Chris Salton.
I think you're right.
And Collector's Hutt. Yay!
Oh, yay.
So Collector's Hutt is a website and YouTube channel created by Chris, and it is truly the pinnacle of Star Wars collecting. Chris is uber passionate about collecting and reviewing the many, many items he owns, and he also has an entire room of his home dedicated to Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. And it is impressive, most impressive. So you can find all of his chronicling of his latest finds. He puts out awesome reviews of all of his gets, and he's on Instagram. So
Take the picture.
If you're into collecting, that's the place for you. And I do have the official Collector's Hutt patch.
Wow.
So you can find him at thecollectorshut.com. A lot of fun.
Did you ever see that picture of him morphing into Java?
Yes. Oh, I know. That is so great.
It's so disturbing.
I think he has a T-shirt of that too. If I'm,
it's sort of like if he was caught in that teleportation machine in The Fly,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So weird.
Well, Endor Finders is next, and I wasn't able to get a true, I guess you could say, rundown of everything that they do. I contacted the organization's leader, and I hadn't heard back at the time of this recording. However, the way that I found Endor Finders was very shortly after Carrie Fisher's passing, and they were doing a special commemorative pin. And it was "She'll Always Be Royalty to Us," and it had Carrie as Princess Leia with blue and silver on a background, and then it had the 1956 to 2016. And so I was just really compelled to purchase the pin because some of the proceeds were going to support mental health issues. And so I felt like that was something that, I wanted to give back to. But Endor Finders actually does a lot of charity work. And so they do a lot of different patches and different pins and that type of thing to support different philanthropies and charitable organizations. So if you want to find Endor Finders, if you'd like to find them, Endor Finders is at endorfinders.com, and they are also on Instagram and Twitter as well. So
I have those.
That was a really fun one. The pins?
No, the mental health issues.
Oh, don't we all though? Just a little bit here and there. So next we have Idiot's Array, and this is part of the Making Star Wars podcast network. And Idiot's Array is hosted by 3 awesome guys. So it's another podcast. If you haven't tuned into them, you owe yourself a little bit to do that. And the co-hosts are Alan Zog, Mark Suter, and a very good friend of the Scoundrels, Ray Walton. Ryder Waldron. Yeah. That guy. Yes. And Ryder, of course, has been a guest of ours on several occasions.
Red Ryder.
Yes, the dentist.
That's right.
Definitely.
The dentist in the West. Who was that dentist? That masked
in the
dentist
West?
Who came through and removed all the mercury from our children's teeth?
I don't know, but Ryder is definitely, campaigning to be the Star Wars dentist, and I'm sure Palpatine would probably fund his entire retirement.
Yeah, you know what his tagline is? Hey, no silver! Away!
Ha ha! There you go. I like it.
He likes porcelain. That porcelain's weird for Micah saying.
Yeah, just a little bit. So on the official side of things, Idiot's Array coins themselves as the following. We bridge the Star Wars galaxy from the movies to the comics, the novels to Star Wars Rebels and the Clone Wars. On Idiot's Array, we discuss Star Wars in a fun and intelligent way. We'd be honored if you'd join us at the Sabacc table. So I've been lucky enough to appear on the show a few times as a guest, and it's always a ton of fun. And ironically, I found out that Mark and I only live like 15 minutes from each other.
Whoa, stalker.
Which is crazy. So, I found out about maybe about a year or so ago. Yeah. I ran into him once at Kohl's.
When I was hunting Joe Caroni.
No, it was crazy. I was checking out, and he was right behind me in line, and I can't remember what he said to me, but as soon as I heard his voice, I turned around. I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mark Suter, how are you, buddy?" And that was our one and only
You realize those T-shirts
meeting.
are on sale for 3 for $10. You only have 2. Is that what he said?
Something like that. And he was wearing a Star Wars T-shirt, but I remember distinctly I was not that day. Huh. I don't even remember what I had on, but it was one of my other fandoms. So could have been Twilight.
That's so amazing.
But that I met him, or that I have
that you just ran into him like that.
Yeah,
I
know.
That's crazy.
And I haven't since, which is weird because where we live is not exactly that big of a town. So, and I met Ryder at Celebration Anaheim as part of a Coffee with Kenobi meetup. And since then, we've become great friends. And so I have the Idiot's Array pin on my jacket. So they always have great discussions. So you can check them out at makingstarwars.net. And they are, once again, Idiot's Array. Mm-hmm. All right. Next, we have Michael Pasquale, who has become, once again, a great friend of the Scoundrels. And if you've been a regular listener of our podcast, you already know how much we love Michael.
Yes.
And he is going to be appearing on an upcoming special episode. So be watching for that right here on SQ Pod. And Michael, if you don't know about him, he's a 3D-based artist from New York. And his artwork ranges from Star Wars to Marvel, DC, Disney, and other various interests. And he produces original art, vinyl pins, and also commissioned work. And Michael will be featured for the first time at Celebration this year in Artist's Alley. So be sure to check out his work if you haven't already done so. So what do you guys own that, you love of Michael's? I know you guys both own a couple of things of his.
Oh, good Lord. So I have, just turning around and looking at my wall, I have 2 pieces currently up. I've got the evolution of Luke Skywalker from Tatooine Farm Boy to Jedi Master in Return of the Jedi or Jedi Knight through Return of the Jedi up to Jedi Master and the way he appears in The Last Jedi. I've got a print of Han and Chewie. I've got the solo print that he did that's kind of got the cast and arrangement. And I'm also a supporter of his Kickstarter project that he's got going on, The Art of Michael Pasquale, which is coming out, should be coming out in the next couple months. But yeah, I have quite a few of his prints, and I love them all. It's hard getting them all up on the wall at the same time with all the other artwork. But yeah, he's got some great stuff.
Taxus, what about you?
I got the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm. And how much do you love it?
A lot. I do. I love it a lot. You know, I have to, full disclosure, I'm in the process of my 5-year project of getting things up on the wall. So I know I've got some gems and stuff. I just haven't gone through them in like a year or two or so. But I remember that one, definitely. And I think a pin, a pork pin. Mm-hmm. I've got that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep. Because I think I sent that to you.
Yeah. Did I win?
Yep. You won. You won the porg.
Hey, thank you.
Comporgulations.
You did. You did. But when you just said, so what do you guys have? I'm sitting there going, oh no. I've done no research.
So no.
No, I did. I was sitting there trying to rack my brains. I was like, no, that was that other artist. No, that was that other artist. Oh no. But I'm good. That's what I got.
And it's hard sometimes too, especially like you said, trying to get everything up on the walls and getting everything displayed sometimes. So that's why I loved being able to do this jean jacket too, because it's a nice little canvas where a lot of times some of the stuff, you know, you buy it and then it gets shoved in a drawer or, you know, whatever. So it's great to be able to display it. So
mine
I
are
actually
all in a very safe spot upstairs. I have them
there you go.
Like pressed, not, you know, just safely segued away to where nothing will crush them, nothing will bend them. I just got to get them out and up.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And you'll figure it out. You will. So I have a few of the vinyl pins on the jacket. So I have the Ahsoka pin, which was part of a special dual pack. And the other is on my everyday coat, actually, of the dual pack. And also one of the pork pin designs he had as part of a line, which you just said that you had. So the one that I have on the jacket is a Porgatano. And I also own Luke Porgwalker.
Yeah.
So I know he had a whole bunch of them, and a lot of those are not even available anymore. So I'm super glad that I was able to get those. And I also have the White Wolf from Rebels, which is ironic because we are at the 1-year episode of Doom and of Kanan's death. So it's kind of crazy that, you know, we're coming full circle with that. And I also own the Kyber Fox pin he created, which is also on the coat that I wear every day. But my favorite thing from him was that I was able to work with him on a custom yoga mat. And he had a piece of artwork with Rey and Kylo Ren from The Last Jedi. And it was kind of almost a mirror in a way, talk about like ring theory, from some of the artwork that was displayed around Attack of the Clones. And so I worked with him and another company to create this personalized yoga mat, which I absolutely adore. So
yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Michael is great. Yeah. So check out his work. So next we have Prophecy Girl. And Prophecy Girl is a wonderful company. I honestly can't remember how I found Prophecy Girl. I think it was through something I saw posted on Twitter through, you know, one of the other posts of the Star Wars community. And so, of course, you know, social media is a great thing because word gets out there. And my first purchase was the Bazine Natal themed shirt, which has the black and white design from her same outfit that she wears in The Force Awakens. And I absolutely fell in love. So since then, the shop owner and product creator, Christy Hannum, has been incredibly gracious in sending me pins and patches and stickers and other goodies in addition to my purchases. And she does things with Buffy the Vampire Slayer and some other fan franchises as well. So if you're into any geekery kinds of things, you want to hit up Prophecy Girl. And Christy is actually a graphic designer with a lifelong passion for sci-fi and pop culture, which is where all this stuff comes from. And the brand came about after years of struggling with the lack of stylish, geeky clothes for women in the UK. But of course, they've since branched out worldwide. So hers is a geeky clothing brand for women who enjoy indulging their love of science fiction, fantasy, and fashion. She launched it in 2006, and her prime directive with Prophecy Girl is to bring you top-notch geek chic. And her motto is wear your geek side with pride. And I love that. So, of course, I've always been a big fan of the smaller companies and that type of thing that are just really striving to get out there in the fan community. And so I'm wearing 2 pins from Prophecy Girl, the Need a Captain pin, which looks like an Imperial Officer rank badge. And it's got some sparklies and stuff in it too, so it's kind of blingy. And another pin called the Chosen One, which is a purple banner type pin. And I also own a racerback tank from her shop, which has the words I Rebel on it. And my preferred pairing with that one is my Jyn Erso jacket from Muster brand and my custom Jyn Erso earrings that I made from a product by Squadron Goals, who is coming up on my rundown. Wow. So yeah.
All right.
And honestly, every product I own from Prophecy Girl has become a staple in my wardrobe. So it's very practical, and I highly recommend checking her out. And she is at prophecygirl.co.uk.
You know what? And again, I found out that she actually lives nowhere near me.
Right. I know. Yeah. UK. Who knew? Mm-hmm. It's a little far across the pond. All right. So next we have Saberguild. And Saberguild is a not-for-profit Lucasfilm recognized Star Wars costuming group that specializes in choreographed lightsaber shows. And they perform at charity and community events, as well as comic book and sci-fi conventions. And it's all to raise money for charity and to share their love of Star Wars with fans around the world. So this was super exciting to me. They started in 2006 with about half a dozen people in California. And they were all members of established costuming organizations and unofficial lightsaber choreography groups. And they came together just to have fun, serve the community, represent Star Wars brand in a way that had never been done before. And now, 10 years later, Saberguild has over 300 members in 18 temples and 5 countries.
Whoa.
Which is pretty cool. Yeah. So they're not only Lucasfilm's preferred lightsaber performance group, but they're also the largest recognized lightsaber club in the world. So I was very fortunate to be able to get in touch with Gabriel. So huge shout out to him. And he is actually the global costume director of Saberguild.
Wow.
I know, right?
I mean, how much does that pay?
Here. Probably absolutely nothing, since they do it all for charity. But the title sounds really fabulous, right?
Right.
But he sent me 3 patches. So he sent me the main Saberguild patch, as well as the Las Vegas Temple, which is known as the Nar Shaddaa Temple, and the San Francisco Temple, which was the Golden Gate Temple. And actually, I just had a recent conversation with Gabriel, and the Golden Gate Temple has recently reorganized into Temple Octo, because he said since everything in the San Francisco area is named Golden Gate something or other.
Yeah, that would explain the image on the patch too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's completely different now. And I asked him too, I said, should I be wearing the old patch? Is that okay? And he said, oh yeah, that's totally fine. They've just kind of updated it. But there's a Central Texas temple too.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Missouri. On Twitter.
Yeah, everything in Missouri is kind of like named after Mark Twain. It's the Mark Twain Club this, the Mark Twain Club that. So I can see why you'd want to distinguish yourself out there in San Francisco by getting away from the Golden Gate.
Yeah, it's also confusing because every time I drive through Missouri, I think I'm in the middle of something.
Yeah, Twain. Pretty much. Yeah, Twain. You Twain things?
Thank you.
I got it. You're B. Twain. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they're really cool. They just recently did a big charity event where they did a casino run, and they called it the Canto Bite Run. And so they were doing a lot of things to raise money. So they do for children's hospitals, and I mean, you name it. And it's pretty amazing. I follow them on Instagram too. So they do a lot of their training videos and that type of thing on there. And they have very similar to like the 501st and the Rebel Legion, where they have the customers on the website. And so you can check them out at saberguild.org.
Awesome.
All right. Yeah. Next, we have Squadron goals.
Oh, yes.
And anyone that's listened to us previously, you've probably heard us talk about Squadron goals and the brainchild of owner Courtney Morlock. She's actually been on the show before for an interview. And so you can find her shop on Etsy. And Courtney started out as a graphic designer working for other companies. And she decided to branch out on her own to design things that she loves, notably Star Wars. But she also creates artwork for her other geeky interests as well. So Courtney's shop includes a wide variety of vinyl pins, patches, stickers, keychains, pillow plushies, charms, buttons, blankets, magnets, and necklaces. So pretty much anything you can think of Star Wars related, she pretty much does it. And she recently even started to include some repeat pattern t-shirts in her shop as well. Like she has a Porg pattern and a couple other things too. So I found Squadron goals a little over a year ago, probably about a year and a half ago now, actually. Time flies. And the first items I purchased were the phone charms that she was selling, which are actually no longer available. But instead of using them as phone charms, of course, crafty old me thought, oh, okay, what else can I do with these?
Throwing stars.
So, yeah, something like that.
Yes.
So I turned the Jin charms into my own custom drop earrings that I talked about a little earlier. And the Ahsoka charm was sewn onto a kind of a zipper button bracelet I made. I have these bracelets that I make literally out of zippers. And then I sew buttons all over them. And then, so that one kind of ended up on there. So they're kind of like
That sounds zany.
The chibi style. Yeah, I actually get a lot of compliments. I'm like, oh, where did you get them? I had one fellow teacher that said, oh, you should sell those at craft shows and things like that. And I thought, gosh, if I only had time.
And you should mind your own business.
No. But yeah, no, it's honestly, if I had time, I probably would consider it, honestly, because I do like doing stuff like
You're
that.
very crafty.
Well, thanks. I enjoy it. I also purchased the pin I'm wearing on the jacket, which is called Love. It just basically says love in a heart. And the word is across a banner, and the heart features the silhouette of Padme's white outfit from Attack of the Clones. So she has all these different pins that are all in the shape of a heart, and then they have different words on them. So there's love and faith and hope and, different types of things. So I don't think she has a trust one, but maybe she might. There's tons, and she has stickers and things too that you can put on your laptop and whatnot. So I'm also wearing 4 patches from Squadron goals: the brother and sister from Mortis, the convoy from Mortis, and then Sabine's Spectre 5 patch that she wears on her right shoulder. And I made sure to put it on my right shoulder as well because, I want it to be authentic.
Well, yeah.
Absolutely. And I also own the Kylo Ren pillow plushie, and I sleep with it every night. It's made from a super soft, like minky type fabric, kind of like velour.
Yeah.
And it's super cuddly.
Is it body shaped?
No, it's only about like maybe 12 inches, but it fits really nicely into the crook of my arm. So I actually have 3 pillows I sleep with. One is a Porg that I got at Petco. It was supposed to be a dog toy. And then I have Kylo Ren. And then I have just a regular small size throw pillow that a good friend of mine made way back in like the 2000s. Jedi Melinda, actually. And so I still sleep with that one too. And my husband always makes fun of me because he's like, you have so many pillows. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
I have 5 pillows.
Oh, do you? Okay, so then I don't feel so bad.
I have 5 pillows and I get it too. Yeah. I like building a little fort in the middle of the night and hiding under it.
Absolutely. I feel you. See, I understand completely. So you can check out her Etsy store and Squadron Goals on Instagram and on Twitter as well. And then we have, last but not least, Star Wars in the Classroom, which is an organization very near and dear to my heart, of course, as a teacher. And Star Wars Class in the Classroom is a website for educators and fans alike that provides resources for transdisciplinary teaching and learning with the Star Wars saga. So this is straight from the website. It says, it is our hope that this website will guide teachers and students from around the world to create and engage in meaningful and entertaining learning experiences. So this was co-founded by Thomas Riddle and Wes Dodgens. So
I should
really
say SQ Pod's own Thomas Riddle.
Yeah.
Episode number 10.
That's right. That's right.
And he's so great. He really is. And
Really.
just quick little things about Thomas and Wes. Thomas actually has so many credentials. He currently serves as the assistant director of Roper Mountain Science Center, and he is an adjunct professor as well of education at Furman University. And Wes is currently a 14th year social studies teacher at Malden High School in Malden, South Carolina, where he teaches AP European history, world history, and World War II and the Cold War. So I had the awesome opportunity to meet both Thomas and Wes at Celebration Anaheim, and Thomas and I continue to be good friends, sharing our experiences of Star Wars and education. So I'm wearing the button from the Star Wars in the Classroom Rogues organization, and the Rogues are, and I quote, an elite group of educators who seek to make learning more fun by utilizing and implementing Star Wars themed lessons into the classroom. And we are called the Rogues because we break traditional education protocol to bring Star Wars and education together. So there you have it. And I'm actually Rogue 7. And I'm very proud to consider myself among the founding members of the organization because there's close to 1,000 rogues now.
Holy cow.
Yeah, and we're all designated by the order in which we joined. So as Rogue 7, I was one of the first. So I kind of have to give a shout out to myself as well, because now there's members from around the world, including places like Luxembourg, Spain, Sweden, Colombia, South Africa, and Australia, just to name a few. So, and we're and we're actually among some pretty distinguished rogues. So other notable rogues include John Dak Morton.
What's he teach?
He's actually Spec Ops.
Oh.
So he's kind of on the board.
Oh,
so to speak.
okay.
And then Ian Dosher, Green Leader. And of course, those of you that know the Shakespearean themed series of Star Wars books know Ian very well.
Right.
Our good friend Vanessa Marshall, who is also on Spec Ops. And a guy named Dan Zier. Blue Leader. Of course, Coffee with Kenobi. We love Dan.
Right.
So
I'm on the ground crew.
Yeah, absolutely. Flagging them in.
Yeah. I kind of recruit people, teachers. I'm not a teacher, so that's why
But you could be.
I just load fuel and bring
And that's
people
all right.
Twinkies and stuff.
So StarWarsInTheClassroom.com is where you can find Star Wars in the Classroom. And, you know, every year in my classroom, I do try to put together some themed lessons, or like we've done Raise Green Bread in my foods class before. And I always have something Star Wars related on Star Wars Day. In my childcare class, we make Wookiee cookies, and that's what we did last year. And I actually had the Chewbacca mom mask on.
Oh.
And so I would...
Yeah, I've ever seen that on Instagram.
Oh my gosh, we were having so much fun. Well, we were doing the Roar for Change thing at the time. So it was the hashtag Roar for Change. So that was part of it. And then this year I also did a community service project in conjunction with State Bags, where we gathered some school supplies and that were donated, and then we gave them away to 2 kids in the district who were in need of school supplies. So that was a lot of fun too. So again, that one's just kind of near and dear to my own personal heart. And then my contribution to the jacket was my own Sugar Skull pattern Star Wars Rebel logo as kind of the focal point on the back. So it's very similar to the one that Ashley Eckstein actually just released. The jean jacket that I talked about in the last That's a Wizard. So I wasn't copying necessarily, because I already had the idea before that jacket came out. It was just kind of ironic. So that you can check out on our website in terms of all of the links to the organizations and whatnot. So just a few other things, like I said at the beginning, that I wanted to throw in there. A couple other notables for the month. So Inkkas has done it again. They've announced a new line of The Future is Female slip-ons and camping boots, as well as a droid-themed slip-on and Leia-inspired shoe. And I already actually pre-ordered my Futures female slip-ons, and they are priced at $68. And the camping boots are $149, and both will ship by March 6th. And the droid's design is available in slip-on style only, and that one's kind of a blue and white. The Futures female is really cool. It's very earth-toned. And the slip-ons for the droids are $68. And again, that's blue and white. And then the Leia design is the Flex Force X style. And that's the one that has the straps across the tongue instead of the laces.
Okay,
and
I
those
like
are
that.
priced at, those are cool.
Yeah.
Those are $84, and those are also shipping on March 6th. So again, Inkkas.com and /collection/star-wars, where you can find those.
If I was a woman, I would go for those.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I don't want to give too much away, but I'm working with Inkkas right now to do. Yes,
Whoa,
I am.
This
And
is an
actually-
exclusive. Let me play a sounder. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, Jay, take it away.
Yay. So, like I said, I don't want to give too much away, but I've been in contact with my person over at Inkkas, and we're working together to do a little ad campaign, actually, with some of my own high school kids. So, future is female. That's all I'm going to say about that. So, not to be outdone, Pozu also has a new footwear item, and this one's available for pre-order as well, and it's the Rey Scavenger Boot reimagined with silver linen. And it's priced at $212.72 with the exchange rate. And these will be dispatched by April 10th. So if you wanted these for celebration, you're going to be out of luck. Yeah. And I own the original Rey Scavenger as well as the Squadron silver linen low cut sneakers. And I put a picture of both of those there for you guys so you can kind of see the comparison. So the boot's going to be a nice little combination of both the original Scavenger boot and the low cut sneakers, which is really exciting. So that's pozu.com.
Did you
And
say
then
boat?
last but not,
Did you say scavenger boat?
Scavenger boot. Sorry. Did I say boat?
I could have sworn you said boat.
It's bleh. I've been talking a lot. I'm probably slurring my words at this point. It's a boot,
That's
not
weird.
a boat.
It's a boot time you move on. All right.
Yeah, there you go. And then last but not least, I had to throw this one in there from Bubble and Geek. They have a soy candle called Blue Milk and Cookies. And I just received this one in the mail just the other day. And oh my goodness, does this smell amazing. So I found this one on Etsy while I was kind of clicking around for other things. So of course I had to get one because I'm obsessed with candles and socks, but that's another story. But yeah, it really does smell amazing. The only drawback is that if you have a really big room, it doesn't fill the scent with, the entire room. So, so this would probably work better in maybe a bedroom or something like that. But it does. It really smells amazing. So blue milk and cookie. Yeah, there you go. And she does have different sizes too. So I think the one that I have is an 8-ounce size, I want to say, but I think she also has a 16-ounce size too. But again, you can go to our show notes and find that link, and that's on Etsy. And I did.
What
go
kind
ahead.
of cookies does it smell like?
Just fresh baked, like cookie dough.
Sugar? Or
sugar
chocolate
cookies.
Chip? Okay.
Sugar cookies. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. And I did go on a little bit of a shopping spree at Redbubble too, but I'm going to save that one to the next episode.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I want to get those. I want to get them first so I can talk a little bit more about them.
Sure.
So,
okay.
So to wrap it up, last but not least, of course, I always give out my Wizard Award, which is simply an honorific that I choose to give to a product, shop, or person to whom I want to give a little bit more attention. And this month, it's going to all the jacket participants because you can't just pick one in this case because everybody is a winner in my book. So, this comes with force powers. So y'all are going to get some major props here.
So it says the most interesting fashionista in the galaxy.
There you go. Oui. So that'll do it for this month's edition of That's So Wizard. So I hope everybody enjoyed about all of those organizations and shops and entities. And like I said, all of this stuff is going to be in the show notes. So give everybody a follow, a click. And if you do happen to get any of their products, you got to let us know. We're always looking for our listeners to tag us with hashtag SQPod and hashtag Scoundrels, hashtag That's So Wizard. And we'd love to see what gets you got. So, Dennis, do you want to wrap it up for us?
Sure. So again, as Jay pointed out, that's going to do it for February's edition of That's So Wizard. Before we go, Jay, what else do you have going on that Scoundrels can look forward to?
Well, basically right here on Starships, Sabers, and Scoundrels. And of course, you can always find my archived blogs over at Coffee with Kenobi and all my Core Worlds Couture fashion review blogs as well.
And Texas?
You can find me over in Geek Supreme with Scott Murray, Regina Davis, and Jeff McGee. And it's every Tuesday. So that's on a calendar.
All right. Well, as for me, you can find my comic reviews on RetroZap.com, and each month I'm talking Star Wars comics with Jovial J. Shepard on Jedi Journals. My wife and I have our Star Trek podcast that's currently devoted to Discovery, but is going to be branching out to cover all aspects of Star Trek, and that is Warp Trails, which is on the RetroZap.com podcast network. If you want to find this show on social media, we are at SQPod on Twitter and Instagram, and on Facebook at facebook.com/SQPod. You can email us at sqpod@retrozap.com. You can follow Darth Taxus on Twitter at Darth Taxus. Jay is at Joyce Krebs, and I am at DJKVER2. Speaking of RetroZap, we are a proud part of the RetroZap.com podcast network. The network currently features more than a dozen shows covering everything from retro gaming, movies, collecting, and a ton of Star Wars. So you can subscribe to the network feed and get them all in one place. We'd love a review wherever you listen to your podcast. And hey, tell your friends while you're at it, especially the ones that like Star Wars, and let them know all about our show. And if they need the help, help them figure out how to subscribe. That's not something that everyone gets these days. I've been surprised to find that out recently. Mm-hmm. But anyways, we'd really appreciate any help that you can give us in spreading the word. That's going to do it for the Scoundrel Special Edition. We'll talk to you all soon with another edition of Starships, Sabers, and Scoundrels. Until then, may the Force be with you.
It's Coyote Monday! Only at the RetroZap Convention Center, Brews and Blasters Hall. Coyote Monday! Come! See the world's largest collection of denim jackets. Free! Top hat fittings for the ladies. Plus, every child 10 and under gets a free monocle. And don't miss the Monster Truck Rally with Wookiee Foot and Rancor. Brought to you by the North American Ibuprofen Association. It's Coyote Monday! Be there!